Hi everyone. My name is Karam Siddiqui. We're a bunch of friends getting together and talking about cricket. Our channel is called One Tip Cricket. All of us, in some capacity, have played some cricket, other than Umair. Um, most of us have played cricket together. I would only consider myself as an expert. The rest of these guys are just jokers in some
उमेर
format.
कोच है भाई रिस्पेक्ट तो जरा उमेर को
They're all jokers in some way, shape or form in terms of cricket analysis. But
You can see Khurram has a real bat in his background right there.
yes.
That
बचपन से इसी
exactly
बैट
what
से
he's an
खेल रहा है
expert.
One true
height adjusted cricket over here.
basically. So I thought we were going to we wanted to start off by doing a Pakistan 11, all-time 11. Well, not really an all-time 11 from 99 till current. That's primarily because I mean that's the kind of cricket that we remember. हम इतने अभी शुक्र है इतने बुढ़े नहीं हुए कि हमें उससे पहले का ज़्यादा याद है. लेकिन we kind of want to talk about that at this era primarily. So we'll go through everyone's playing 11. Everyone's compiled their list, and then at the end of it, we will try to come up with a consensus on what the best 11 is during that era. So on the line we have Uzair, myself, Asad, On, who's accompanied by Chotu, and Umair. We are one player short right now. Rana is
बिरयानी खाने में मसरूफ है वो
बिरयानी का होती है तो it must be either Halim or Nihari.
हलीम या निहारी होगी हाँ
निहारी जो भी है लेकिन
excuse अच्छा है
सोशली डिस्टेंस इफ्तार पे गया हुआ है राना
हाँ और खाने पड़ रहा है.
We found out 10 minutes ago.
We found out 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but this time doesn't work very well.
खाना तो बनता है ना पाकिस्तान में.
टाइम होने पे पता चला कि टाइम सही नहीं है.
So we'll jump into it. Uzair, you want to go through your playing 11 or all-time Pakistan 11 first?
Yeah, sure. So, hi guys, my name is Uzair Yunus. I think ऑन तो वैसे ही शुरू में ही फायरिंग करेगा. नंबर 6 दिया हुआ है उसने मेरी टीम को, लेकिन आई रीड थ्रू इट. इमाम उल हक, फखर जमान, Babar Azam, these three are to me the most exciting top three I've seen since 99, so that's why I picked them. Inzamam, Muhammad Yusuf, despite all his craziness, Quran pe waade karana वगैरह. Sarfraz Ahmad, wicketkeeper, Abdul Razak, Wasim Akram, Shahid Afridi, Saeed Ajmal, and Shoaib Akhtar.
Okay, interesting top three. Or
Hold on, I have a question. Is this also your batting order?
This is my batting order, yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would move Afridi up or down with Razak or Sarfraz based on the situation, but by and large, this would be the starting 11.
Okay. I'll jump into mine. So I have opening the order. I have Azhar Ali, Sarfraz Ahmed. So this is ODI 11, right? I don't think I specified that. So I have Azhar Ali, Sarfraz Ahmed.
Azhar Ali डाल के लग तो रहा था कि test 11 है, लेकिन चलो.
Then I have Babar Azam, Inzi, Shoaib Malik, Mohammad Hafiz.
Shoaib Malik.
Whoa. Okay.
Lala, Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, Shoaib Akhtar, and Ajmal. We're playing in Pakistan or in the subcontinent.
Basically, इस टीम के जो collapses होने हैं ना, वो जबरदस्त किस्म के होने हैं.
हम
50 for 5.
subcontinent में खेल रहे हैं. जहाँ पे भी खेल रहे हैं यार, इंग्लैंड में भी चले जाओ, this team would be fine because the kind of flat pitches that the kind of flat pitches that they produce there now is phenomenal. So yeah, I'm going with this. We'll talk about it in more detail. Okay. Asad, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So for me, I'm going with a kind of a different opening squad. I'm going with my all-time favorite Saeed Anwar, definitely for me, that there's no doubt. And most of these guys, by the way, in my team are people who I've seen live. Fortunately, I've seen some.
Sugar ye nahi bola ki I've also played with, but okay.
So Saeed Anwar, I'm starting with just a gem of an opener, super risky, one of the most talented I've seen out of Pakistan. Accompanying him, just because I couldn't find any other opener who I think would be worth a slot in an all-time or great Pakistan 11. I'm actually going with Babar Azam because I've seen him in T20. For Pakistan, he's averaging 50 plus. I've seen him in the UK and in county cricket. And I think in limited overs, he can open really well. And then for the middle order, I'm going with Yunus Khan at number 3, Inzamam ul Haq at number 4, Mohammad Yusuf at number 5. I think these three are the most solid batsmen who I have seen in my time in Pakistan cricket. Very dependable, scored in grounds all over the world. Technically very correct. And so I'm going with them in my middle order. Lower order, number 6, I'm going with the keeper batsman, Moin Khan. I just think he's fantastic keeper, very reliable and handy with the bat as well. Although I must confess that I'm picking this all-time 11 based on the best 5 batsmen, the best 5 bowlers and 1 keeper.
People's Party की तकरीर नहीं है जरा.
तकरीर नहीं है, but it's a word to give some justification. Anyway, then I've got for the last 5 slots, I'm going with Wasim Akram. One can argue that he can be an all-rounder as well. So I'm going with him, greatest left armer. I'm also going with Mohammad Amir. I know he's a controversial figure. He messed up a little in his youth, but I saw him at the World Cup this past summer, and he's just phenomenal. He has to be there, and he's just performed over the years. And
there's not a single player in anyone's squad that has not been surrounded by controversy in some format.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic that you mentioned Wasim Akram without saying anything and then went to Mohammad Amir and was like, oh, controversial.
Akhar Zaman hasn't had any controversry.
Yeah, even Tutu disagrees, by the way. He's like,
speaking of controversy,
we're
probably the most controversial guy, Shoaib Akhtar. His pace and just the character he was on the spot. One of my favorite bowlers, Waqar Yunus, just those in-swingers, record, deadly. So I think with those 4 pacers in Akram, Amir, Shoaib, and we're golden. And then for the spinner, I've actually gone with Glenn. The original bowler, dependable at the death. He's bowled last over of the match. So that's my 11 really.
Basically, Chotu has serious objection with this team.
Chotu is like
expressing his displeasure throughout
with us.
With every single pick.
All right. Since On turned off his video for a second, he's been shifted down the order. Umair, you want to go next?
Yeah. I tried to keep as many players from the 99 World Cup team because that was my favorite team. And so I basically tried to...
Living in the past.
I took everyone who I thought from the 99 team would make it. And I added like a couple of guys who I thought were great ODI cricketers after. And then turned out I could only find Babar Azam and Saeed Ajmal, I guess. So I tried to fit them in, which is kind of depressing to think. So I went with... a Saeed Anwar Shahid Afridi opening partnership, which was very exciting. I think it even worked for a couple of years. But yeah, then I went with Babar, Inzamam, Yusuf, which was the standard middle order, which everyone had. Razak at 6. I think we're going to have a lot of discussion about that, but he's there. Wasim Akram, Moin Khan as keeper. And then I had both Saklan and Saeed Ajmal, which was, I guess, a result of me trying to put Ajmal in the team and also trying to keep the 99 team. And then finally, Shoaib Akhtar to round it up.
This is called the Nostalgia 11.
This is the Nostalgia 11, yeah, pretty much.
Proper fan of Pakistan cricket. 99 ke aage
90. I mean, that was a great team. So
Yeah, it was.
Until they decided
Even
to not wear.
Even Shane Warne's best 11 for Pakistan had like 9 people from 99.
Yeah.
Based on him having played with all of them.
I initially wanted to keep all 11, but then I was like Ijaz Ahmed and Wajahatullah Wasti.
शुक्र का 96 पे नहीं जाना पड़ा वरना वो अताउर रहमान सलीम मलिक वैसे ऐसे नाम के खुद ही परेशानी हो जाती है कि
Has anyone read Salim Malik's or has anyone read that there's
we'll get to that part in a second
coming out for Malik?
On को list अपनी share करने दो यार.
Okay.
Come on.
Chalo, all right. So to wrap it up, my list, I wasn't thinking that we're only playing in Pakistan or India. Yeah, Sharjah mein jahan वैसे ही मैच जीत जाने. So trying to put together an 11 that can play all over. Saeed Anwar and Shahid Afridi to open. Shahid Afridi as an opener is probably better than Shahid Afridi as any other batsman in the team. It's the only place I think you can fit a guy like him. Babar Azam at number 3. Some people might think that it's too soon, but I think the fact that almost all of us have picked him shows that, he's definitely had a wonderful career so far. Inzamam at number 4. It goes without saying he has one of the best records of having the most match-winning 50s of all time in ODI cricket. So there's not really much to argue there. Mohammad Yusuf, number 5, interchangeable with Inzi at number 4, but again another great batsman at his pinnacle. There's no one right now apart from maybe Babar Azam that can compete with him. And then things start to get interesting. Mohammad Hafiz at number 6, because I think with Hafiz, you can't really just see him in his total numbers. He has this ability to do exceptionally well when he bowls to left-handers. And the reason I went with him over Razak, we'll get into later. Moin Khan as the keeper. I don't think Sarfaraz is comparable to Moin as a keeper. Maybe he's a slightly better batsman, but the batting order is what it is. Wasim Akram, captain and at number 8, followed by Saqlain Mushtaq, Shoaib Akhtar, and Waqar Yunus.
Okay.
And I think off of that, we should probably get into our consensus 11, right? Which is essentially the players that the majority of us have picked, which just in the order of the times they've been picked, starts off with Babar Azam, Wasim Akram, and Shoaib Akhtar, who's been picked by everyone. Then Shahid Afridi, who was not picked by just one person. Same with Mohammad Yusuf, not picked by one person. Inzamam ul Haq, Waqar Yunus, Saeed Anwar, and Saqlain Mushtaq, which gives
Inzi was picked by everyone, right?
Yeah, he was, but for some reason he's gone down the order. So we have 9 people that everyone has picked. And then there's 2 slots that are open. And I think they're interesting slots because the first one is Moin Khan versus Sarfaraz Ahmed. So it's basically, whether you want your keeper batsman definition from the late 90s or essentially a batsman keeper now as they've turned into. And the other one that has everyone fighting is Saeed Ajmal and who else was it?
Razak
Abdul
and
Razak.
Hafiz.
Abdul Razak and Hafiz because he's been picked twice, but yeah. So we could actually minus Hafiz and just worry about Ajmal versus Razak. But I would push Hafiz up.
So who did we go with our openers then?
Well, I mean, if you have Saeed Anwar and Shahid Afridi, my point here is very simple, is that if you have Afridi in the team, there's no point pushing him down to 8 and 9. You can look at his record. It takes a few balls and he's going to be outcaught. But when you actually make him play at the top of the order, that's where you get the best out of him.
Saeed Anwar wasn't picked by everyone.
Saeed Anwar was picked by 5 people, right?
He was picked by 4 people.
4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did not pick him?
He was picked by 4, yeah.
Yeah. Khurram didn't pick him.
Zaid didn't pick him.
I didn't pick him.
Yeah. But
and Umair also.
Umair did. Umair, myself, Asad, and Hamad. All 4 of us filled him in as the facing opener.
Coach Umair, what do you think about the Azhar Ali choice and the rationale?
I mean, how does Azhar Ali compare to Fakhr and Imam statistically.
He's
might be a-
lower.
That might be a fairer comparison.
He's behind. He's behind.
He's
both
behind
of them.
both of
We
them.
don't- we don't need to
We're not going to pick Fakhr because he can't play at home. Like there's just like how can you pick a player who can't play in his home conditions? I love the guy. I think what he's like he has the potential of doing really well, but he needs to learn how to play in subcontinental conditions. He cannot play in UAE. He can't play in Pakistan. He just can't play in slow conditions. अब उसको हर दफा जाके इंग्लैंड और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में तो नहीं खिला सकते, right? या न्यूजीलैंड में तो नहीं खिला सकते जहाँ पे बॉल बैट पे आ रही है. Like it's just
But
not.
how well did he do in the World Cup? Even he didn't do that well in the World Cup.
He did all right. I can't remember the exact stats. He wasn't as
I
good
mean,
as
Khurram,
Imam.
you're statistically wrong. He's played 2 innings, Fakhr Zaman, at home, and he averages 65.
UAE.
I mean, I can.
UAE was home. Add UAE in the statistics, and we know what his stats are. They're pretty bad compared to the rest of the world. He's averaging over 50.
I don't think that it's either Azhar or Fakhr or Imam. It's
For me, like Fakhr is the classic example of someone who came in with a bang, did super good. As soon as he saw his positions getting cemented, classical Pakistan example of getting complacent. And he
I
just
don't know if
hasn't
it's complacent. I think everyone else just figured him out because he's a very one-dimensional player. He's not evolved. You watch him bat like from the beginning to now. Not one thing has changed, right? Like he is still thinking कि मैं वही चीज करूँगा और बस हो जाएगा किसी तरह से. Him and Hassan Ali are not very different in that regard. Hassan Ali as well is like when you watch him bowl right now, it's like plan क्या है भाई?
I think we're a little harsh on Hassan Ali. I think we're a little harsh on
Khurram की दुखती रात पे तुमने हाथ रख दिया.
but that's a different that's a different.
the batsman, yeah.
I mean, he got dropped. He hasn't played a single game for Pakistan after the England match in the World Cup. He hasn't played a single ODI game since. And in that match, his spell was responsible.
Wait, can we not talk about Hassan Ali and go down that rabbit hole because
But
we have a lot of other things to debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
For another day.
This will get too long.
For another day.
I will say one thing about Imam. People may call him Parchi or whatever, but I do think
ये insert जरूरी था. किसी ने अभी तक नहीं बोला था पर्ची.
He's proven critics wrong. I mean, he's done well, and as a pair, I can see an argument. But for me, they need to play a lot more and really prove themselves, and maybe in other 4-5 years, see how they do in the next World Cup. So they're not there yet. They're a good pair, but I don't think they're great.
I think Imam's on the right trajectory.
Yeah,
and
so statistically, Imam's like better than Saeed in winning matches, but then you have to also add the fact that 5 out of those 19 innings in which he's played and won are against Zimbabwe, 4 against Zimbabwe, 1 against Afghanistan. And if you take that out, his average drops by a lot.
This is the point I was making about your pair. Okay, like they've done a lot of what's called stats batting.
And so Fakhr also like 3 out of the 9 innings are against Zimbabwe.
I mean, we can even bring up if you're going down, breaking it by opposition, I'd bring up about Azhar Ali as well. Okay, like as an opener in ODIs, right?
He scored against Zimbabwe a lot.
His first century against Bangladesh in the losing cause. His next century against Zimbabwe at Lahore, which as we all know was like a desperate series. They just cricket sparked
that first century though. Let's talk about that first century though. That was in a series that we lost.
No, we didn't lose. We got trashed. We got trashed in that series.
Yeah.
Non-competitive games, and he scored in his striker of 90.
Let's talk about that.
I think we're going over on Azhar Ali's quota.
Yeah, Azhar Ali to nahi select nahi ho raha na to
okay, consensus le lo na. Like I don't think anyone else is going.
कौन ले रहा है भाई Azhar Ali को अपनी टीम में?
I'm not.
I think we're good to move on. So we have Saeed Anwar. As one.
Afridi as openers.
You guys agree on Afridi?
Okay. Let's talk about the keepers first.
Yeah, Sarfraz versus Moin.
Moin, the better keeper. Sarfraz, the better batsman.
Afridi's won the vote.
Moin is by far for me he's my favorite keeper in Pakistan. But I picked Sarfraz. And I picked Sarfraz primarily because he's a better batsman. I don't know. I think this is a toss-up right now. It was a hard one for me to pick. Rashid Latif on the other hand as well. Great keeper. decent bat, but I don't know.
I would have picked Sarfraz if Sarfraz would not have done so poorly down the order.
बिरयानियाँ कम
It's the
खाता
sort of
इसलिए
positions that like 6,
Proceed over
7.
for it.
I mean, I think he's good enough to play to 4, 5 or something, but every time he's played at that sort of 6, 7 position where he's required to like step up the
It
run rate,
doesn't work out.
etc.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked out ever. And so
Whereas
if you're building a team
Moeen
with
actually specialized in that department.
yeah, I mean that was Moeen. He was coming
Hard
in
ball
late
to
down
sweep.
the order, stepping it
Especially
up.
for
Handball
the
per sweep.
Yeah, especially for the 230 era, right? Because we have to keep in context that like उस time में अगर आप 20 रन बना रहे थे 16-17 बॉलों में, that was an invaluable innings.
Yeah.
Like, towards the end of the 99 World Cup.
99 World Cup, every single game we were collapsing and relying on Akram and Moin Khan to score runs for us.
Exactly. And those little chips that they were making they were huge contributions because, us with the bowling lineup, which I think is similar to the bowling lineup most of us have selected for this 11. 225, 230, so अगर आपने किसी तरह 250 तक खींच दिया, then you can run the numbers. Pakistan's odds of winning the match went up
beyond 240.
Tremendously. And that's kind of what we were relying on. हम मतलब ये इतनी शर्म की बात है कि 16 साल बाद भी 2015 में भी हम यही सोच लेके आए थे कि ये 230 में मैच जीता है। साउथ अफ्रीका को किसी तरह से उनसे करवा ही लिया था ये साउथ अफ्रीका से। But we were playing with that same approach. And I think for that reason, I would go with Moeen.
Yeah, no, agreed. For me, I went with Moeen mainly because, I really believe in specialist keepers. There is no point in having a partial batsman. Whatever a keeper gives you is extra, but the keeper's job, especially in all-time 11, is to keep and catch catches. Moeen for sure gives the confidence that he will catch way more catches of guys like Akhtar and Amir and Akram and Waqars and all of that than a Sarfraz does. The last thing you want
नहीं है हमारी टीम में
well let's be honest here, right? Like, so the hardest bowler in this team to keep against, and this is coming from keeper who I am, is Afridi. Afridi is by far the most difficult bowler in our team to keep against. The way that his ball drifts in, comes in with pace, grips, jumps, doesn't spin a whole lot, but it jumps, is one of the most difficult bowlers, I think, going around to keep against. That guy, Rashid, क्या नाम है इसका, Afghanistan keeper, Rashid Khan, sorry. I don't know how
I spinner.
The spinner, yeah. Yeah, so his bowling again is very, very difficult to keep against because it's just the pace and the drift that they generate to get the ball in is just ridiculously hard to keep against. And I mean, the Shoaib Akhtars and the Waqars and the Wasims, they're still relatively easier to keep against. But Afridi would be the true challenge, and I think Moeen would be the only one who's done a phenomenal job, keeping against that bowler.
You all agree that he's the best keeper, right?
By far.
So I think
Moeen is my hero. Like, that's the person that I grew up watching.
Didn't someone pick Kamran Akmal as their opener?
Initially,
right?
And dropped him.
कौन था वो?
Never.
Ahmad.
That was me.
Khurram.
That was you.
That was me, and that was.
You didn't go with it.
No. Hello.
Khurram then had nightmares.
So
खुर्रम को डरावने ख्वाब आ गए थे कि इस सेशन में होना क्या उसके साथ अगर कामरान
let's play a hypothetical and let's talk about that, right?
Let's not. That's the only time an Akmal comes in handy is a hypothetical.
Are we picking Moeen or Sarfraz?
We're already talking about hypotheticals.
I'm going.
Once an Akmal comes in.
I would switch my pick to Moeen.
I go Moeen just because of the batting order you have, right? अगर आप बोलते कि यार top order आपका weak है थोड़ा या you need a better opener, then I would tilt towards Sarfraz because there's no denying, like even after the adjustments and everything, Sarfraz has better batting numbers. Although you could argue that Moeen never really got the same opportunity as a batsman to play up the order that Sarfraz has. But I think we can all see as a keeper that Moeen Khan is Moeen Khan, man. I mean, he's just better.
Yeah.
So wait, last spot. Saeed Ajmal versus Abdul Razak versus Mohammad Hafiz.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
Spot क्या है? खाली spot क्या है?
What is the spot?
Well,
Six.
if you ask Umair, it's number 11. if you ask anybody else, it's number 6.
Number 6 where you have to put Razak.
Yeah, we should do 6. 6 would be six is a debate, right?
Yeah,
6 is the
Razak
debate.
versus
Razak versus
Hafiz.
Hafiz. Yeah.
Hafiz
what's
does
our-
not work.
Why not? I think Hafiz would be the perfect number 6.
That's what
Except
I
that-
think as well, because I think Razak, like, how many overs are you going to give him between Akhtar, Yunus, Akram? You have Saqlain Mushtaq, Shahid Afridi. Like, there are 5 people who are better bowlers than him.
And where are you playing?
Bowler in an all-time 11. Do we need a 6th bowler?
Where are you playing that in a limited over game where you need 4 seamers?
Yeah. Between Akhtar, Akram और Yunus के साथ आप रज़ाक को कहाँ fit करेंगे? ये मुझे भी समझा दो.
और दुनिया
I
के
didn't have a
कौन
card,
से
so I picked him.
Oh yeah, you did pick the card.
Take
That's
inspiration
interesting.
from the
Why
West
didn't you
Indies
pick
team
Wakar?
of the 80s. 4 seamers, all guns blazing.
भाई
सबकी आगे
Why
बजा दो.
was the
Hafiz, by the way,
a wicket like that?
Hafiz's average is down by about a run per innings in the middle order. FYI.
what?
What?
Say that
Compared to what?
You got to look at the not outs again, because Razak's middle order has.
No, I'm just talking about Hafiz by himself. I'm just saying that if you look,
That's
this
fine.
whole idea that Hafiz
Oh,
is
you mean
better in the
Hafiz
middle
versus-
order,
Hafiz
over his
is the-
career is better.
Hafiz
Middle
is
order is
is
are
the
you talking
best-
about all of middle order or just like number 6?
He's between 4 and 7. He
6
is.
पे देखो ना, 6 पे
That's
बात कर रहे हैं.
the
Although I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not like a great record again. Again, we're in that same hole that we were in with Afridi. Ke, like you're talking about all rounders.
so let's talk about Hafiz. Let's
Number
talk about
6
Hafiz.
let me tell, number 6, his career average is 32.9. Number 6, his average is 23.66. And he has no 50s
Ooh.
or no 100s. Number 6. And his strike rate is
How many times has he
52.5. 52.59 is his strike rate.
When did he
Played
play
only
that?
3 innings. He's only played 3 innings.
Okay.
yeah. That's
so,
the other thing about Hafiz. If you pick him as
so-
number 6, he will
He's
not
never
play at number
played.
6.
So
He'll
let's
be like,
let's
मैं 3 पे जा रहा
okay.
हूँ.
एक second.
Some 6 पे
Let me
आएगा.
okay, let me talk about this, right? So we're talking about positions here, but instead we should be talking about the overs instead. That the overs in which he comes into bat, and we know this again that when he comes into bat after the 35th over, he's a completely different player than when he comes
वो
in
भी check कर लेते हैं.
when he comes into bat, early on in the innings. Hafiz technically cannot build an innings, in my opinion. He doesn't have the technique to be playing number 3, number 4, or number 1.
Razak in number 6 has 100.
या तुम again फिर वही number 6 पे जो है number 6 की बात ही
number
नहीं
6
होगी.
की debate हो रही है.
But तुम overs की बात करो ना. हफीज ने 3 games
इसमें
खेले.
35 overs का देखना है तुम्हें.
एक
After
second,
35.
तुम हफीज ने 3 innings खेली हैं low down the order, right? That's not the point. The point is that what is he going to be most suitable playing? And in my opinion, Hafiz is by far the best, cleanest hitter of the ball the team has had.
That's his opinion.
Yes, that is opinion. And based on stats that every time he comes in and plays an attacking innings after the 35th or the 36th over in this of what we used to call the third power play at some point, he is a completely different player. Now you have the stats in front of you. Read them out.
I'm trying to find how to do 35 overs or beyond, but
I have a very important question. Is Hafiz playing purely as a batsman or is he also going to bowl?
he's
I mean,
also gonna
we
partial
know about his
bowler.
bowling, right? We know about his
Right.
bowling.
मेरे
He's
हिसाब
number
से
6
जगह bowling में बनती नहीं है. अगर अफरीदी साहब भी खेल रहे हैं, 5 bowler, 4 bowler हैं, I don't see him bowling. So then the question is he the best batsman?
No, Razak is the better batsman than him at number
Razak?
6.
Again, you're looking at the position.
On how do you do the 35 overs thing here? I can't figure out on
and
stats
frankly,
guru.
I would still defend my pick of
I don't
Yunus
think you
Khan.
can in
I would
stats,
pick
Guru. You have to go to the other cricket
You've already
database.
got an Afridi. Why take a second all-rounder? Yeah? I mean, I would even pick Yunus Khan over him as a specialist batsman.
At number
This is a
6.
Pakistan ODI team, man.
You were
Everyone
the
is
only
all-rounder.
one who picked Yunus Khan, by the way, so he doesn't
Yeah.
qualify.
Meaning I would move it around. But I would pick him as a player over Hafiz. I would put a specialist batsman in there.
And I think Hafiz would be that specialist number 6 batsman. I think that Hafiz his entire career has been playing the wrong position That is an issue on our with our
Management को blame
management.
करोगे तुम
No,
अब.
but that is an issue with our management. How is it that there have been articles written by Cricket Australia unrelated to our team pointing out how good Hafiz is at that position, but no statistical analysis has been done. Even though we've seen that Hafiz, when he plays an attacking innings, is a completely different player compared to jab usko kehte hain jaake innings build karo. He doesn't have the technique to build an innings or to play.
I wouldn't say technique. I think it's just patience. It's
Well, he
totally
doesn't.
just patience.
He doesn't have the skill. Let's just take the words out, and he just said he doesn't have the skills to build an innings the way Babar Azam or Inzi or Yusuf did.
And yeah, I have two reference points. So one, some of us were at the World Cup and we saw Hafiz's performance, and Hafiz being the veteran. Did he carry the team the way a great should? He kept holding out to the same player on the same shot, right? We cannot call him great. At least I cannot call him great.
Yeah, there's no way.
Time. I think that's wrong.
And
Second important piece is overseas. Yeah, I mean, Stain on this classic example.
Yeah, for sure.
Overseas, बंदे को खेलना ही नहीं आता
even yeah.
Again,
And
you're comparing two different scenarios, right? Again, you're comparing different scenarios. Hold on. So coming back to that first argument that you had in the World Cup, right? So let's look at his first game where he actually did perform really well, right? What was his role and how was he playing? And that was, I think, against the England match, against the England team. He came in again in the 30 plus over mark when the openers in the middle order had given him a really solid platform, and he was given the freedom of going and playing his shots. He was phenomenal. Where he played out and where he made mistakes, and I was really pissed off about, was full tosses on leg stump against a spinner, sweep kar raha hai, down to square leg. Those were issues. Yes, he made those. But what we're again talking about is the number 6 position, where we're assuming that he's been given the freedom to go out and play his shots.
So there's no way to do the 35 over thing, but if you put the bracket on position number 5 to 7, which I think is pretty all-inclusive given the number of overs, etc. Hafiz's record is basically 8 innings out of 216 where he's played in those positions, averaging 34.7 at a strike rate of 78 with 250s in his career. Abdur Razak, meanwhile, is 131 innings, averaging 32 at 87.5 with 200s and 13 50s. He's a better match winner in those positions, in that position.
But you're comparing you're comparing 8 innings to 178 innings.
So exactly, that's what I'm saying. He was trusted to perform in that position, and he did. And by the way, he was better on his strike rate in an era where the run rate was slower. So his contributions were far more invaluable than what Hafiz has ever done in his career.
What he's ever done in his career, but we've seen what he has done in that stage of the innings.
How many times? 8 innings खेली हैं उसने बस.
8 innings, and there's no way. So right now, can you tell me that he didn't come in and play that innings maybe because he was injured and he came back down?
I don't know, but he was not trusted by his team to go in that position and perform. That is
they pushed him up the order.
Or the team pushed him up the order.
Pushed him up the order. Pakistan is not that strategic. We all know that Pakistan is like, आप बेहतर batsman हैं, आप ऊपर जाके खेलें.
I cannot see Hafiz in an all-time 11. There's no way.
Well, it's not an all-time 11. Let's be clear about that.
99 to current 11.
2020.
No, even in that era, no
it's
way.
It's a millennial 11.
Yeah, no way he makes it into a millennial 11.
I mean, in terms of just like hitting out, would you pick Hafiz over Razak though?
No way.
No way.
No, right? Like, I mean,
how do you guys seriously?
I would pick Razak.
I would pick Hafiz over Razak in a hit out, because Hafiz literally has every shot in the book. So Razak is
like Zaman but right-handed.
If the ball is full pitched
That's
up,
what you need at that position.
But if the ball is full, who bowls in this day and age?
Bowling in the slot.
Yeah, no one's bowling Yorkers these days. They're bowling mix-ups and changes and slowers and back of a length. They're not bowling just Yorkers.
Also, again, with Hafiz, one of the other things, basically, because we do a lot of these like career numbers. His trajectory at the start of his career was really bad. Okay? Like he played pretty poorly. I think it was 2004, 2005. उसके बाद कुछ साल नहीं खेला. फिर उसके बाद भी he wasn't able to refine himself.
2009 में आया था.
2013 से लेके अब तक, which is a pretty long spell.
Yeah.
He's batted really well. really well. Before that, he had 1 year, 2011. Uske baad se tum dekho, I don't think his average is even dipped below 30 in a single year, which is not bad.
But that's not good
And
enough
for
either.
Pakistan batsmen, huh?
For a Pakistan batsman?
That's not good enough though.
Yeah, but also look at the number. Like this again goes back to something we spoke about earlier. But like, look at the sort of players that you're playing with as well, right? Like, look at the 2015 World Cup team that we sent. Like look at that batting line. Simite nahi bhejte. And then look at the era that Razak batted in. Razak ended his ODI career in 2011, right? Up until then, Pakistan used to be amongst like the top 2-3 teams for the number of match wins every year. It wasn't just Razak. It was because we just had fundamentally a better team. I think.
But he was one of the reasons for them being so good because
not really.
He had like that.
I mean, his bowling
ability
was
to come in.
His bowling
Even
was
his
a
batting was
contributor.
good.
I think mostly because of his batting was great. I'm not going to deny it. He was a great all rounder.
But he was good. I don't think he was great, but
his bowling was the key factor in our success. And again, like that stereotype that comes with us that Pakistan is a good bowling lineup, right?
Hafiz's bowling?
No, Razak's.
Okay, because you could say the same for Hafiz's as well.
Ha-
He was just very good at containing people.
Yeah, Hafiz, again, like from a bowling perspective, like if you're playing in the subcontinent or if you're playing modern day ODI cricket, I would much rather have a spinner who can contain runs than have a seamer who may or may not pick wickets because the pitches are such that they're not going to really get that lateral movement anyway.
Yeah. Hafiz versus
my
lefties.
just general argument against Hafiz, the batsman, is that there's no position which he has kind of made his own over the years, and he's played across like the top 6, and he's had like a good run where like the best he's done is he's averaged at 30 at some point.
No. He's had years above 40.
He had a season of about 50.
There's no position where you could say that this is like a Hafiz position.
Yeah,
Like,
Hafiz
what position
averaged
would you
58
say?
in 2017.
2013, 2015, 2016, 2017.
But Razak also averaged 55 in 2000.
Sure, I mean players have peaks, but I'm just saying like what position when you think about Hafiz? If you think about Hafiz, like what position do you think?
Number 6 for debate ho raha hai. I mean that's what we
No, I mean I'm saying if you take out the all-time 11 like thing and think about Hafiz the batsman, like where do you play him, say?
I would play him.
I would play number 5 or number 6. I think his ideal position would be number 5. Realistically, in case there's a collapse, he can play a little bit and then speed up. But
he hasn't. I mean,
he hasn't, and that's probably, there are a few reasons for it. It's probably because either he has so much say and he wants to play up the order, or the coach and the captain don't think or aren't looking at the stats around his performances in the later half of the innings, and are not trusting him with that position. So or could be a combination of the two. He says मैंने सिर्फ खेलना है opening या मैंने सिर्फ number 4 number 3 खेलना है because मैं play ball अच्छा हूँ.
दोनों ओपनिंग करनी है, बॉलिंग भी.
अच्छा भाई, ऑन और खुर्रम तुमने तो हफीज को पिक किया हुआ है ना, तो अब वोट जो है who's the tiebreaker?
I mean, look, I'll conclude it on this. My opinion between Razak and Hafiz could actually even switch just based on where the match is being played. I'm not like pro Hafiz over Razak to the point that I wouldn't concede on this one. I think like Razak has an equally good shot of making this 11. I literally went with Hafiz because when I think about because to me this is a filler role in this team. बाकी आपकी bowling पहले से है, आपके पास batting भी पहले से. Filler role में I'm looking for a little bit of like an X factor to a player, right? And to me, Hafiz versus lefties is that X factor. You can dissect his career all you want. If there's one thing he's never failed against, it's containing the crap out of lefties. Dunya ke best lefties le aao, matlab chalo, luckily for him he never bowled like Lara and all. That was it. Because I can't find that with Razak in this team.
That's fair enough. Asad, your final point on this debate.
Yeah, Hafiz doesn't make my 11, so he has no room for it. Razak, unfortunately, didn't either. But if I had to pick one between them, I would go with it.
Umair?
Yeah, Razak, man. I mean, Razak is made for that last 10 overs. And again, this might also just be the fact that statistically, both are not, if you compare them to like the international number sixes would both kind of come poorly. But I think just generally the fact that Hafiz has not played at that position, and like even if he has, I mean, there are only a couple of examples of him doing so. I wouldn't like, go against someone who's done that for 150 games or so. So I would go with Razak.
Okay. Forum.
I mean, I'm going with Hafiz. I think all of you guys are wrong, which
Okay.
again we've talked about.
I mean, to On's point, my X factor, I would look for an X factor in this filler role as well, but I would look for an X factor in terms of batting capability. And Razak in that position has a more proven record of winning matches, and his stats show that from a batting perspective. So that's why I would pick Razak. But I agree that either one of them is not the best choice, but it is a filler role.
Yeah,
And
let's
it
be
also
honest.
shows how terrible our all-rounders have been over the years.
Exactly, and our lack of evolution in this department, especially the number 6-7, is what has kept Pakistan like behind
Agreed,
other
yeah.
teams
Agreed.
when it comes to ODIs. Like
Yeah.
we haven't made a Shane Watson, we haven't made an Andrew Simons, we never had a Lance Klusener, we never even had someone like MS Dhoni, man. Like he also plays like a specialist keeper / all-rounder. No, the हमने युवराज सिंह तक नहीं पैदा किया. So
Yeah, definitely. To that point, I think number 6 pe, we need a much
No,
better player.
I think with
it's-
the
I
I think with the
actually-
Yuvraj Singh comment, I think we did have
These guys are coming at 6.
who did we have? As
Or
you
Who
know?
did we have?
we did so Yuvraj Singh at his peak, we had Afridi playing in that exact same role with the wickets and the batting at the same time. Like we
Yuvraj
did
is far
have
more consistent, yeah.
Yuvraj is phenomenal. But I think what we are not looking at, yes, our batting consistency has lacked with most of our all-rounders, but our bowling consistency has been there in our all-rounders.
वो बात ठीक है, but
And our all-rounders are traditionally and should be mostly spinners who can bat, because that is the kind of environment we grow in, and it's perfectly fine for all-rounders to be spinners. That is what
of course,
the
of course.
subcontinent should be producing and is producing.
There's nothing wrong with that. You just don't
So
want to produce more players like Shoaib Malik, where it becomes an issue of like horses for courses, right?
Shoaib Malik को वैसे किसने pick किया था?
I had Shoaib Malik. I think he's
Malik,
the best spin player. I think he's the best spin player of spin
सारे ही
in
best है
ODIs
तुम्हारे लिए.
that Pakistan has had over the last 20 years.
Who did you pick him over?
That was the whole point of picking. That was the whole point of picking the best.
मतलब तुमने शोएब
11, right?
मलिक को भी पिक किया और तुमने
हफीज भी है, मलिक भी
हफीज
है.
भी को भी पिक किया.
I mean,
There's
Shoaib
no-
Malik and Hafiz,
फिर
I'm
आफरीदी को
sorry,
भी
but
पिक किया. मतलब मिडिल ऑर्डर
not
में
work.
कितने रन बनाने हैं तुम्हें?
I was not going to
Khurram
pick
has
Mohammad
picked-
Yusuf.
Wait.
I was not going to pick Mohammad Yusuf. There was no way I was going to pick Mohammad. I
Khurram has
despise
picked
that
the most
guy.
likely team to concede a hat trick, basically. Between Malik, Hafiz, and Afridi, 3 in a row.
But
Most likely
they're
team
never
to
going
concede
to.
a hat
Then, like with the top order that I have, they're never going to have to, bat in like crunch situations.
क्यों
I have
भाई?
Babar Azam at number
Top
3.
order, your top order is
Azhar
Azhar Ali and
Ali,
Sarfraz Ahmed. मतलब Sarfraz Ahmed as an opener is probably
Sarfraz
going to
Ahmed
get
as an
out
opener
by
कहाँ
over
से आ
number
गया
5.
वैसे? Sarfraz Ahmed as an opener, ये कहाँ से? What is
ये वो
the
साउथ अफ्रीका के अगेंस्ट उसने आके ओपनिंग की थी.
वर्ल्ड कप में भी की थी.
World Cup game.
2015 में भी की थी.
PCB ने
वो
चांस
replay पे
नहीं दिया
चल रही है
सरफराज को.
2015 में भी दी थी. 2015 में भी की थी उसने वर्ल्ड कप में.
उसी की बात कर रहा हूँ अगेंस्ट साउथ अफ्रीका. जब वो
PCB ने
finally
सही
आया
चांस
था.
नहीं दिया.
I mean, if you guys like Hafiz so much, why didn't you pick Hafiz as like an opener?
Because he's not an opener. He's not good enough
Yeah,
to
they
be.
didn't pick him. We're done with the Hafiz debate. So क्या list बनी Oni?
List अब हमारी बनी है Saeed Anwar and Shahid Afridi as our openers, Babar Azam at 1 down, Inzamam ul Haq at 2 down, Mohammad Yusuf at 3 down, Abdur Razak at 4 down at number 6, number 7 Moin Khan, number 8 Wasim Akram, and then between 9, 10 and 11 it's up to you guys how you want to order Waqar, Mushtaq and Shoaib Akhtar. Doesn't really matter.
Waqar.
Actually Shoaib would come in before those two. Shoaib has
No,
hit a few.
Waqar would come before Shoaib Akhtar.
No way. I don't want to get into stats about like who's a better tail ender, but
अब तेल पे तो बहस नहीं करो यार.
वैसे the one thing I would like if I had to change, I would pick Ajmal over Saklan, but in any case, that's done.
That's also viable. That's also perfectly viable. I just
How
think
did that
once
break down, the Ajmal versus Saklan?
So on my side, Ajmal versus Saklan is, I mean, it depends on how you adjust for the wicket taking capabilities in eras.
Everyone picked Saklan, right? Or what was the?
No. It was very close. You actually made it really confusing by picking them both. Nobody else picked two frontline off spinners for the team. So वो लेके जो है मुसीबत कर दी. But
No,
Ajmal got picked 3. Like if you're talking about people who picked them exclusively,
who
so
picked?
then I picked Saklan, and Uzair picked Ajmal. Hamad did not pick Ajmal, and Khurram picked Ajmal. Yeah, so 3 of us picked Ajmal. 3 of us picked Saklan exclusively, 2 Ajmal, and then you came in and ruined it by picking them both.
So do we want to talk about that? Because it looks like
I think that's a good. That's a
a fun topic, guys.
That should have been the debate we should have had as opposed to Azhar Ali as an opener.
Yeah. Okay. So so I can cut that out. Let's talk about Ajmal really quickly and versus Saklan. So my thoughts on that are both again phenomenal bowlers. Saklan being the pioneer of the Dusra for our team. I picked Ajmal simply because I think that and in very small margins here, Saklan had a really, really good bowling lineup that he was bowling against, and he was coming in as a 5th bowler or a 4th bowler at times in bowling. So the opposition were taking their chances against him. Coming from, if I was to bat against that bowling lineup, that would be my thing, right? I would take chances against Saklan. So with his variations and with his bowling, I think he got a lot more wickets than let's say Ajmal. Where Ajmal, everyone knew was the best bowler in Pakistan's team at the time. Everyone was playing him cautiously. Everyone was trying to just negotiate him. Yet he picked wickets, and he was phenomenal. So that's my argument for picking Ajmal versus Saklan.
Yeah, my argument similar to Ajmal was that if you look at what everyone's picked in terms of bowling lineups, it's basically the 99 era, which means that Saklan was probably bowling with the best bowlers in that era all the time, or most of the time. Ajmal didn't have that luxury, and if you look at his stats, they're pretty comparable. So his career average was 22.7 versus Saklan's 21.7. His career strike rate was about the same, around 30, and his economy rate was marginally better. So if you adjust, Ajmal's was. But then if you look at 3+ wickets, and then you can play around with the inflation on wicket side, either way, they're very close. But if you reduce the threshold for Ajmal in terms of 2+ wickets while keeping the same for Saklan, he had a 62% winning match rate percentage. And so his contributions were really high in games where Pakistan was winning. So that's why I picked him, because he didn't have the luxury of playing with the all-time greats of Pakistani bowling, and he still did really well.
In this team, you are picking the all-time greats, so.
No, I'm just saying, so he's better in my view than Saklan because of that, right? That his stats are actually very comparable in different eras to Saklan, even though he was not bowling with the all-time greats as partners. And so he carried the team, in my view, and therefore he makes it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't bowling with useless bowlers either. He had some, but I agree on the fact that Ajmal, Ajmal had to build an attack around him, whereas Saklan had the luxury of fitting into an already great attack. I don't think there's much arguing on that. But I will say this, and
Ajmal Chucks. Ajmal Chucks.
Once they made him fix the action, because look, if there was an issue with the action and they made him fix the action,
what happened?
वो साजिश थी भाई.
What happened?
साजिश.
BCCI.
पहली और दूसरा तो रह गए, तीसरा आना शुरू हो गया, तीसरा didn't work.
I was going to go with that. For me, I loved Ajmal at his peak. Super destructive, very close call. But the only reason why Saklan gets the edge for me is because his action was cleaner. And I think the main issue...
silent pe dalo.
Sorry. I think the action was the game changer, because once he came back with a clean
100%.
action, it changed the game. He was just
never the same. Never the same.
So Saklan had the thing that Saklan had was that with his Dusra, he had a clean action. which at this point, there's no bowler in the world who can bowl a dusra with a clean action
That's
without
true.
changing their action. Saklan changed his action every time he bowled a dusra. You could see there was a difference in his action, but he kept it clean. And that, in my opinion, does have a higher weightage than Ajmal. I mean, look, ICC for a really long time didn't take these actions into account and let them slip and let them do whatever the hell they wanted to do. But Saklan was playing in an era where they were strict about actions, and he was bowling with a clean action.
Coach Umair, what's your view?
Where does he take it then? Does Sakhi might take it?
I picked both actually.
I know.
We know you did. That's why we're having. That's why we're having this debate.
They were both match winners, man. I mean, I think
you gotta pick one though. You gotta pick one. That's it.
If I had to pick,
you have 1 over to bowl. It's the last over of the innings, and
Saklan, of course.
Hasi is batting.
Saklan.
Hasi is batting, and he needs 22 to win.
Oh god.
I think people also forget how good like Saklan was, because he was playing with like Shoaib Akhtar and Wasim Akram and all.
Absolutely. Everyone suffers that, right? Like you play with stars, you suffer that for sure.
Yeah, but like he didn't just like play with them, but like he was as important as them, and like across like the
he was Wasim's go-to guy in the end.
His personality
he was finishing innings.
His personality was so subdued versus like these other, guys
rock stars.
The team.
I mean, the others were rock stars, and this guy was basically just like chilling with them.
Yeah.
And it's like no comparison in personalities between.
आज मैं उसका वो देख रहा था, वो जो एक पाकिस्तानी जो cricket reporter है, Sajid, जिसका I think his Twitter handle is Saj Pak Passion, and he quoted Saklan on saying that Saklan said that in 1997 was the first time that I went and I sledged Sachin Tendulkar, and then Sachin came up to me and said that why are you misbehaving with me? I've never misbehaved with you, and I hold you like very highly as a person and as a player. And then Saklan basically said that he was so embarrassed by his behavior that he never did it again. But that's the Saklan Mushtaq we're talking about in this group of players where you had Shoaib Akhtar. He's familiar with everyone's mother and sister. And there's
on that note, so I think we have our team, right?
We do.
And
whoever's
watching, जो 1 दर्जन लोग हैं जो देख रहे हैं ये पहली एपिसोड, अपनी लिस्ट भी शेयर
1 दर्जन including us or not
including us.
We'd love to see what our viewers top 11 is. This would be super interesting.
We don't need to call them viewers. We could just say viewer for right now. It might just be one person.
It's probably going to be just
Chotu देख रहा होगा.
But Chotu didn't like Asif's team for sure.
Okay, in case there are people who are not related to us watching this, would love to hear your 11 from the 99 to current era. ODI 11, yes, to clarify that. Probably should have done that at the start of the video, but we'll do it now. If you guys have any thoughts or any other topics that you'd like us to discuss, please share them in our comments.
Gautam Gambhir.
Like and subscribe our channel, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Thank you.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.